Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. Okay, inshallah today we will try to finish our syllabus. Last time we talked about the theory of al-mulk, or the theory of milkiyah, the theory of ownership. And there are four theories, four main theories of muamalat contracts. One is the theory of ownership that we finished, that we discussed last lecture. In Arabic, al-mulk, or milkiyah, ownership. And so the second theory is the theory of al-mal that we will cover today. The third theory is theory of haqq, or theory of rights. In Arabic, haqq, in English, rights. And the fourth theory is the theory of aqad, theory of contracts. But we will cover only two theories today, which is the theory of al-mal and the theory of aqad, because we do not have time to cover the theory of Okay, before we continue, any questions from last lecture? It looks like it's going to be raining over here.
Yeah. Here also, Prof. It's very, what's it? Very dark.
Dark and cloudy.
Yeah, dark.
Surabaya is very hot, Bu.
Oh ya?
Yeah,
Di sini serem. Sini gelap sekali, Bu.
Okay, so let's start with theory of al-mal, the theory of property, or the theory of wealth. Al-mal in Arabic words, means wealth or property. Istilahan, the definition according to Islamic scholars, al-mal refers to something that can be hoarded or secured, something that can be possessed, something that can be used, something that can be owned, something that can be possessed or owned for use. It can be used, it can be disposed of at the time of need. So that's the meaning of al-mal. There are three attributes of al-mal. Any property must have these three attributes or characteristics. Number one, al-mal must have some value.
Sorry.
Right? Al-mal must have some value.
Oh, that's my value.
It must have some value. Can you give me an example of property that has no value?
With no value.
Property, no value.
Al-mal is something that we can use, right? If it has no value, then that is not al-mal, according to the scholars. So number one, al-mal must have some value. Number two, it must be a thing that benefits, of which the Islamic law permits. Okay? It must be a thing that have benefit of which the Islamic law permits. An example of a thing that has a benefit, but Islamic law does not permit. For example, pork, right?
Kirimkan ke sini. Bisa nggak dikirim?
Bocor Pak.
Kalau nggak bisa, bawa sini.
Can you mute, Prof?
I'm trying to mute.
Mute it all.
Okay. Pork, for example, is a thing that has benefit, right? I don't know. But it's not allowed by Sharia. So that is not al-mal. Al-mal must be a thing that benefit of which the Islamic law permits. So any haram products that the Islamic law does not permit is not considered as al-mal and cannot be the subject of sales. And number 3, someone must possess it. If you want to sell something, for example, you must have the ownership. You cannot sell something, for example, al-mal or property that doesn't belong to you. Okay? Al-mal, there are 2 types of al-mal. One is al-malul batin, non-apparent property, and al-malul zahir, apparent property. What is al-malul zahir? Al-malul zahir literally means apparent wealth. Al-malul zahir, if we translate from Arabic to English, it means apparent wealth or apparent property. Technically, according to scholars, al-malul zahir is a type of wealth that can be inspected, examined, and assessed by uruf. In the case of zakat, by zakat collectors. So it must be the wealth that can be inspected, examined, and assessed. For example, livestock, agricultural produce, stock in trade, minerals, any types of goods that you can see, you can examine, you can assess, you can inspect. On the other hand, al-malul batina, non-apparent wealth, are the type of wealth that are not easily observable by uruf. For example, Bu Susi has lots of gold and diamonds. And she just hide the gold and diamonds in a box in her home. So public cannot see, cannot observe, cannot inspect. So that is called the al-malul batin, non-apparent property or non-apparent wealth. Okay, any question about al-malul zahir and al-malul batin? Question? No question. If you have questions, you can unmute, yeah? Bu Tuti, if you have questions,
Yeah.
you must unmute.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, Prof. Still thinking, I would like to know, very clear example of batin and zahir.
Okay, give me an example of al-mal al-zahir. Many things. Something that we can see. Car. Okay, if I have car, then it's al-malu zahir. House, al-malu zahir. Something that the public can observe by uruf. By uruf means without having to inspect, without having to do research, without having to do difficult things. We can just see by uruf. Car, house, what else? Trees. Right. That is called
Cars.
yes. Land
Cars.
Yeah.
that we can see. That is al-malul zahir. Al-malul batin is a type of wealth that is not easily observable by public by uruf. You know the meaning of uruf?
Uruf.
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 Yeah, in Arabic, uruf. Uruf means
Apa itu uruf sebenarnya?
okay, what's the meaning of uruf? Uruf means by custom, by uruf, by custom. It means easily observable. Easily, uruf means easily observable without having to do difficult and thorough examination. I'll give you an example of al-malul batin. Gold, silver, right? Suppose you have lots of gold, lots of silver, and you hide in your house. It's not apparent. Public cannot easily observe and examine, right?
Yeah.
Only you know that you have that property or wealth. The public doesn't know. The public cannot observe easily. So that is called al-malul batin.
You mean cannot observe in the mean of price or what, Prof?
We're not talking about price. We're talking about the property.
Yeah. But you know,
gold. If Bututi, you have many gold, silver. You are a rich lady, and you keep in your house. Nobody knows. That is called al-mal al-batin. You have the public cannot observe easily. Okay.
What about money? I have, something deposit in bank and no one know.
Yeah, that is al-mal al-batin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Simpanan ya.
That other people, the public, cannot observe easily by uruf. All right, that's the difference between al-malu zahir and al-malu batin. Okay. In respect of ownership, al-mal is classified into al-malul amma. Al-malul amma means any wealth which has no specific owner. All right, we don't know who the owner is. And al-malul khassa is a wealth that is owned by a specific individual, a specific owner. All right. It will be on your exam. Ask question.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Can you give some example for al-mal amma?
Al-malul amma. Al-malul amma is a type of mal which has no specific owner. For example,
No specific owner.
a land that is not yet cultivated. Maybe in a long time ago, there were many lands that are considered as al-malul amma, the land which has no specific owners because it has no, it doesn't belong to any specific owner, right? Right now it's kind of difficult, but maybe 100 years ago, 200 years ago, there were many lands.
Yeah, tanah kosong ya.
Tanah kosong, no specific owner, right?
Yeah.
So that is al-malul amma. Okay. And other than al-malul amma, we have al-malul khassa. Al-malul khassa. Bahasa Melayu khusus. Bahasa Indonesia apa ya?
Khusus sama spesifik, spesial.
Not specific. It means the wealth that belongs to a specific owner. Okay, a car, house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that belongs to a specific owner. For example, Bu Tuti has a car, Mercedes. So Mercedes is registered under Bu Tuti. So that is called al-malul khassa.
Al-mal khassa.
Right? It has a specific owner.
Yes.
All right. Also, al-mal also can be classified into movable and immovable property. Movable properties are properties that can be moved from one place to another place easily. Books, cars, many things, you know, food, properties that can be moved from one place to another place. That is called movable property or movable wealth. Immovable wealth are something that cannot be moved from one place to another place. Okay? For example,
House.
land,
Kebun.
house, land, big trees, you know, cannot move. However, small tree in a pot is movable. But if you have big durian tree, it's not movable. All right. So there are properties that are movable and properties that are immovable. So according to Malikis, Shafi'is, and Hanbalis, so these are the madhabs, right? These are the school of thoughts. Malikis refers to madhab, the followers of madhab Maliki. Shafi'is refers to the followers of madhab Shafi'i. Hanbalis refers to the followers of madhab Hanbali. Movable is something that can be moved from one place to another, while immovable
cannot be.
Something that cannot be moved from one place to another. So according to this opinion, land and all its permanent fixtures, such as buildings, house, and trees are considered as immovable. Okay. Properties or wealth can also be looked at from perspective of measurable and non-measurable. Some properties are measurable, some properties are non-measurable. Measurable properties are properties that can be measured. Now, there are 4 ways to measure, 4 means of measurements, 4 ways to measure properties. Number one is makilat. Makilat are properties that are typically sold by measurement. Things that are sold by measurement of capacity, such as sugar, wheat, mineral water, barley. You measure, right?
Yeah.
You have to measure some kind of measurement. Okay, you measure wheat by pack of wheat, for example, right? Barley by a pack of barley or a box of barley, right?
Barley.
Yeah. Or water, measure by bottles, right? You put water in the bottle. That is called makilat. Some type of measurement. Mawzunat. The second is mawzunat. Properties which are sold by weight, by kilogram, for example, right? Things that are ordinarily sold by measurement of weight, by kilo, sugar, flour, lots of things we measure by weight. Fruits.
Ya, beras, padi,
durian, which are measured by
durian. Nanti ya di Malaysia.
Yeah. Indonesia, you have durian or not?
Ada.
Oh, plenty. We have plenty, Prof.
We have from Palembang, Padang, and then there is orange durian now in Banyuwangi, Prof. Close to Bali. You know, very orange, almost red.
Durian.
Yeah.
You can sell by as mauzunat, right? By kilogram.
Yeah.
And also durian can be sold by adadiyat. Adadiyat is you sold by units.
Yeah.
For example, 1 durian, 5 ringgit. 2 durian, 10 ringgit. You don't measure by kilogram. Durian also are mauzunat. You can sell by weight, by kilogram. Or you can sell by adadiyat, by units.
Prof, back again to makilat, Prof. Sorry. You know, you said water ya. But sekarang water kan ada bottle water, Prof. Ya kan? So how can ya, Prof?
Okay. Makilat means, for example, drinking water, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You sell drinking water by
galon.
By bottle, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So 10 bottles, 10 ringgit, for example.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the size of the bottle. It's the measurement of capacity. So you can sell water by bottle, right? Or you can sell water by glass.
Yeah.
One glass. You go to a restaurant, you order 1 cup of tea. So it's makilat. 1 cup is makilat. You don't measure, you don't weigh. I want to drink, for example, 1 kilo of coffee. No, you drink 1 cup of coffee. So that is called makilat. Okay?
Sorry, Prof. Number C, masruat, Prof.
Okay, I haven't covered that one yet.
Okay.
Khususnya buru-buru.
No, bukan buru-buru because just now you mentioned ada diat, right? So I thought
I skip Mazru'at.
Siapa lagi itu? Para Akem.
Okay, reminder for everybody, please mute. You can unmute only if you have questions, right? All right. Okay, Mazru'at. Mazru'at are things estimated by linear measurement. Okay. For example, clothes. I want to buy one, I don't know. Ladies, you want to buy a piece of clothes, right? So you have to measure how long the piece of clothes. So that is called a mazru'at. Things that are measured by how long. Can you give another example?
Maybe land, if I want to buy a piece of land.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Okay.
by
maybe
the linear measurement, by how many feet, how many meters, right?
Prof, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, if we buy some clothes, there is some other size, right? Small, medium, large. So small size is cheaper than large size. Can we use that as a example?
Yes, that is also an example. As long as you measure using linear measurement, right? So S means how many centimeters, for example.
Yes. Yes.
M is how many centimeters. So that is called linear measurement. Yeah. In the old days, when I was young, we bought soap by linear measurement. You want how many soap? So you can buy soap by, for example, 6 6 inches. Yeah, 6 inches or 1 feet, for example. In the old days, now no more. Now we buy soap by adadiyat, okay? By adadiyat, 1 soap, 2 soap, right? So adadiyat means things that are sold by units. Durian, orange, eggs. Okay, you buy how many eggs? 1 egg, 12 eggs, 10 eggs. Okay. So that's how we measure al-mal or properties. Makilat, mawzunat, mazru'at, adadiyat. It will be on your exam. Okay. Any question? Okay. Al-mal also can be looked from the perspective of whether the property is mutaqawwim or ghairul mutaqawwim. Mutaqawwim means the property is valuable. Valuable, mutaqawwim, is wealth that has a commercial value. It is possible that certain wealth has no retail value for Muslims, but is mutaqawwim or valuable for non-Muslims. Examples are wine and pork. wine and pork are mutaqawwim for Muslims, but ghayrul mutaqawwim, sorry, I'm confused. Wine and pork are ghayrul mutaqawwim for Muslims, and mutaqawwim for non-Muslims. What does it mean? Wine and pork can be sold among Muslims, right? No. Wine and pork can be sold among non-Muslims, right? Among non-Muslims. But wine and pork cannot be sold by Muslims. So in order to sell, in order to be al-mabi', al-mabi' means the object of sale. The property must be mutaqawwim. Okay? So that means wine and pork cannot be al-mabi', cannot be the object of sale. Muslims cannot own wine and cannot own pork and cannot sell wine and pork. Okay. Valuable property is something that someone owns and having commercial value and is exploitable. Means it can be used. Yeah, it can be used during normal circumstances. Valuable property can be used for two things. One is a benefit permissible by law to enjoy. Okay, something that the owner is permitted to use by law. Okay, the second is valuable property is a means of property acquired. Okay, valuable property is something that can be stored as value, right? So valuable property means two things. One, the owner can use it and is permitted to use it by law. And then the owner can make it as a means, as an asset, right? That he or she owns. For example, a car, right? A car is mutaqawwim. Why? Number one, the owner can use the car, can benefit from the car, and is permitted to use the car by law. And number two, the car is a means. It's like an asset, instrument that the owner can keep as something valuable. All right. For example, a fish in the sea is not mutaqawwim. A fish in the sea is ghayrul mutaqawwim. Why? Brother Hamza, fish in the sea is ghayrul mutaqawwim. Explain your answer. Okay. That is the question for the exam.
Yeah, it is ghayrul mutaqawwim because it is in the sea. You cannot have access, immediate access to it. You cannot exploit it as long as it is still in the sea.
Yes.
Yeah.
You cannot get a benefit from the fish if it is still in the sea. You cannot cook the fish. You cannot eat the fish. Right? So fish in the sea is ghayrul mutaqawwim.
Ghairul or khairul, Prof? Ghairul.
Ghayrul mutaqawwim.
Ghairul. Ghairul.
Ghayrul mutaqawwim.
Ghairul itu tanpa ya, ghairul. Ghairul ya, tanpa. Hah?
Bukan. Ghayrul means bukan.
Kalau khairul itu bagus.
Yeah.
Yang
Okay,
mana?
let me spell for you. Ghayrul mutaqawwim. With gha, right?
With go berarti tanpa nilai. There is no value ya. Oke.
Okay.
Ghairul.
Ghayrul mutaqawwim.
Cannot get.
Like we say in Surah Al-Fatihah.
Yeah. Oh ya, ghairul
maghdubi alaihim.
Ya, ghairul tanpa.
Okay.
Ya.
Siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim ghairil maghdubi.
Ghairul ya.
Ghairul mutaqawwim. Non-valuable. So a fish in the sea is ghairul mutaqawwim. However, if the fish is caught, right, then the fish is mutaqawwim. Okay, it can be the subject matter. It can be al-mabi'. Bapak Prayagi, how are you?
Oh, Alhamdulillah, Prof. I'm fine. Thank you, Prof.
Any question?
I think it's not yet, Prof.
So ghairul mutaqawwim means something that is not yet possessed. Fish in the sea is ghairul mutaqawwim. Birds in the sky is ghairul mutaqawwim. And it cannot be the subject of sale. You cannot say, oh, I want to sell the fish in the sea. No, you cannot sell. It's ghairul mutaqawwim. But if you go and catch the fish, then you can sell. After you catch the fish, then the fish becomes mutaqawwim. Okay.
Yeah.
According, yes.
Excuse me. Yeah, you said, earlier that, durian can be sold by unit is considered mauzuna. But in the other, hand, durian also adadiyat. So,
yeah.
So which one? So mauzuna and adadiyat is almost the same, yeah?
It's not the same. Okay, mauzuna, you have to weigh on the scale. You mesti timbang, eh? Mesti
ya, timbang.
Timbang. Mauzuna, timbangan.
Ya.
Timbangan, eh? Adadiyat, bilangan.
Oh, oke. Ini timbangan. Oke. Very
Mauzuna,
clear ya.
Durian itu boleh ditimbang, eh? Put on a scale, timbang. 5 kilos, 10 kilos.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 kilo, 5 ringgit, for example.
Yeah.
So that is mauzunat, ya. Timbangan, ya.
Yeah.
Adadiyat, bilangan. You count.
Yeah,
you sell durian not by timbangan, eh?
Yeah.
You sell durian, okay. By, for example, bilangan, eh?
Yeah, very clear.
Durian,
Okay.
2 biji durian. So you have the options.
Yeah.
Whether to use mauzunat or adadiyat.
Yeah.
Usually durian, the sellers sell by
mauzuna. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to
Yeah.
weigh. Yeah. But if there are lots of durians, 1 lorry, 2 lorries of durian, sometimes the seller say, okay, take this 20 durian, pay me 50 ringgit. So,
So it is adadiyat.
Yeah. Okay. According to Hanafi madhab, al-mal Ghayrul mutaqawwim is a category of mal that has no value from the perspective of Sharia.
Yeah.
So all items in this category cannot be subject matters, cannot be al-mabi', cannot be the object of sale. Okay, cannot be the subject matters in lawful transactions such as buy or sale, rent, ijara, pledge, rahnu, and gift. So anything that is ghayrul mutaqawwim cannot be sold, cannot be rented, cannot be pledged, and cannot be used as hiba. You cannot say, I want to give you all the fish in the sea as gift for you. It's ghayrul mutaqawwim. It is impermissible that Muslims own or transfer such items in whatever form of transactions. Examples of al-mal ghayrul mutaqawwim include pork, alcohol, riba-based loans, conventional bonds, and etc. So, according to Sharia, ghayrul mutaqawwim has no value. Right? Has no value. So the items, the haram items, the haram items are ghayrul mutaqawwim for Muslims. Yeah. So that means the haram products, the haram items cannot be the subject matter of sales, cannot be the subject matter of rent. Okay?
Yeah.
Anything that haram, including loans, is haram for Muslims.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, another category of al-mal. There are al-mal al-mithli and al-mal al-qimi. Mithli, fungible, can be replaced by an equal quantity of something similar to them. That is called mithli. In English, homo. Fungible. Means the same. Okay. For example, many things are fungible. Something that you can buy the similar things from the market. Rice, salt, drink, right? So that are called fungible. Something that can be replaced by equal quantity or something similar to them. Shirt, okay, this shirt is fungible. Why? Because you can buy this similar shirt in the market. Car is fungible, okay? Here, for example, you have Toyota Vios, right? Is it fungible? Yes. You can buy similar Toyota Vios in the market. Many things, most of the items are fungible, mithli. However, there are properties, there are things that are qimi, non-fungible. For example, Bu Susi, you order a shirt, but specific order, only for you. The specific fabric, specific what they call size. Yeah.
Size.
Specific fabric,
Color or size, yeah.
color, specific size, then it is qimi, because you cannot find similar shirt in the market because you have what do you call it? You make
Specific size.
specific. You make specific order.
Mhm.
That's for you. Only one.
Customize, something that
Oh,
customize.
Customize. That's the right word. Customize. Yeah. So qimi are things where the equivalent cannot be found in the market.
Yeah.
It's customized. Something similar cannot be found in the market. You know, there are expensive cars that are customized. By
Unik ya, unik mungkin ya.
Yeah, unique. Cannot be found in the market. Specific cars, you know, customized for specific person, right? Which cost millions of dollars. So that is qimi. Mal, al-malul qimi, non-fungible.
Itu baik, itu contoh ya, Prof ya.
Ya, contoh. Any
Contohnya baik. Baik itu kimi.
a wife is not property. Oh.
No, I'm joking. Itu kimi karena nggak bisa diganti.
Yeah, wife or husband are qimi, but they are not properties. They are persons. But if you think your husband is a property, then your husband is qimi. There's none like that. Unique. So
unik, Prof. Yeah, because he is unique.
Yeah, unique. So your husband is not property,
yeah.
But if you treat as property, then it is qimi.
Kimi, yeah.
Property is something that you can sell, you can rent.
Yeah.
Yeah? So can you rent or sell your husband?
No, of course. No.
Then your husband is not property.
Yeah, he's kimi.
It's qimi, but not property.
Yeah.
Property means something that you can sell.
Yeah.
It's an object of sale or rent.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Prof. What about painting?
Ini studennya cuma Bu Susi sama Tuti ya. Di mana yang lain?
Just raise hand who can sell her husband.
Tuh, wake up kan? Ya. Now you are wake up. Where is the other one?
If you can use your husband as a pledge, or collateral, okay, then your husband is property. For example, Tuti goes to the bank. I want to apply for finance, right?
Sekarang semua melek loh. Everybody wake up sekarang.
You said, here is the collateral, my husband. If the bank accepts, then
ijarah ya, Prof.
Then your husband is
Kimi, ijarah.
Or you can rent your husband for 1 month. For the husband for 1 month. You can rent.
Excuse me, Prof.
Yes.
How about the painting? Painting is cannot also replace, right?
Yes. The original painting is qimi, right? But however, nowadays with certain technology, they make duplicate of painting. So the duplicate, for example, Mona Lisa or some famous paintings or any painting, they can make like a duplicate. So the duplicate is mithli.
Oh, the duplicate
The original is qimi. That's why the original is very expensive.
Very expensive, yeah.
Even some art painting that I don't understand at all, they sold for thousands. You know,
Yeah.
they make like something like art or something that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Mona Lisa.
Yeah, Mona Lisa. The original Mona Lisa is qimi, right?
Yeah.
But the duplicate, you know, sometimes they make duplicate. So that is
Mithli.
mithli, yes. All right. So the difference between fungible, mithli, and non-fungible, qimi. The fungible can be paid by its equivalent, thus can be established as a liability. Okay. For example, you trust somebody, right? You trust somebody to keep for you, for example, what's an example? You give a trust for somebody to keep bicycle, for example, right? You say, okay, I'm going to be away for a couple of days, so I'm going to trust you to keep the bicycle for me. When you come back, the bicycle is gone. Suppose the bicycle is mithli, right? This bicycle can be found, can be bought at the market. So the person who lost the bicycle must replace with the same
one.
equivalent bicycle. So the fungible can be paid by its equivalent, while the non-fungible specific thus shall only be satisfied by itself and cannot be replaced by other things. So non-fungible, for example, Mona Lisa original painting, right? Suppose somebody trusts you to keep the painting. Or if you lose the painting, you'll be in much trouble because it is not, cannot be replaced. Okay, number 2. If misbehavior occurs on a fungible item, the item can be substituted with a similar thing, like I said before. Okay, for example, the duplicate of a Mona Lisa painting, right? Suppose your friend trusts you to keep the duplicate of Mona Lisa painting. So if the painting is mithli, the duplicate is mithli, right? And you lose it, you can substitute with other Mona Lisa duplicate. If it happens on the non-fungible item, the original Mona Lisa, for example, then you cannot replace, right? Then you have to pay. The damage shall be made good by paying the price of the damaged item, right? Mona Lisa original. Oh, you will faint if you lose the original because the price is very high, the original, right? Okay. Fungible property may become non-fungible, qimi. Mithli can become qimi when the following conditions are present. Separation from the market. Okay. Mithli may become
replace
when you cannot get access to the market, right?
Prof,
Yeah.
can this example work? when 1970s car brand that is no longer being produced, it gets stolen, and then you look for it on the market and you cannot find.
Yeah, that is
So
that is qimi, yes, true.
Kimi. Once Mithri, but now due to time it's Kimi. Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right.
True. That's true. Another case, if you're in a jungle, right? Okay. You have brought 2 bicycles, right? And you ask your friend to take care of the bicycles. But you're in a jungle. Suppose the bicycle is lost or stolen, right? Then it becomes qimi because you are now very far from the market. You cannot get access to the market. Then it becomes qimi. When you are separated from the market, means you cannot get access to the market. 2, when 2 different types of fungible items are mixed. For example, if rice is mixed with barley, then it becomes qimi. Rice is mithli, right? Barley is mithli. But if you mix, you know, then it becomes qimi. It becomes like unique.
Yeah, unique.
Yeah, because when you mix 2 mithli items, then it becomes qimi. Number 3, when fungible items are burnt or destroyed, they would become non-fungible items and their price would be fixed. Okay. The bicycle are burnt or destroyed. Then they would become qimi.
Yeah, because because cannot be used.
Yeah, for example, the items, although they exist, but they are burnt, right? Then you cannot replace it anymore, right? Okay.
Usable but conservable.
Istimali and istihlaqi. Okay, we will stop and take a 10 minutes break. Then we'll come back.
Yeah.
Because there are many difficult terms.
Yeah, that's true.
Terms.
Susah ini.
Ini susah, huh?
Susah.
Kalau exam close book, you'll be in trouble.
Wah, pasti.
Yes, definitely.
But it's open book, so you're not in trouble.
Waduh, susah sekali ini. Ini the examination you just give the material and then we work alone. I mean we work not limit in limited hours or
24 hours.
24 hours. Oh, good. So we can make a group to start to make it, you know.
Oh, don't tell me. If you discuss, you cannot discuss.
No, we still have a group now.
Because we are honest people, Prof.
If you tell me you discuss,
then you
fail.
Yeah.
If you discuss, you don't tell me.
Yeah. It's a joke.
Okay.
Too honest, Prof. Now we break, ya?
Yes, Bu.
Yeah.
Let's take a break.
10 minutes break.
Cari minum dulu.
Break, ya?
Yeah.
Okay, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Inshallah, we will continue. So, everybody is still okay? Can we continue?
Yes, Prof.
Okay.
Okay.
Usable but conservable isti'mali and usable but perishable istihlaqi. So there are properties that are isti'mali. Isti'mali means a property that would remain even after someone uses it. Cars, house, so it remains for a long time. But perishable istihlaqi, a value of property. So isti'mali includes land, clothes, books, and other things. Even after we use, the property still remains, but the value of property will depreciate, but sometimes appreciate. You know, the value of land can be used and it will appreciate. The value of clothes after use, it will depreciate. The value of books will depreciate. The value of cars will depreciate. But there are some values that will appreciate, right?
Especially land, Prof.
Yeah, usually the land usually will appreciate. The house will appreciate, right?
Yes.
Usually. So that is isti'mali. There are properties that are called istikhlaqi. After using the property, then the property can no longer be used. For example,
Electronic.
food. Food.
Electronic.
Electronic.
Electronic, yeah, because when you buy electronic like TV, buy for 5 million rupiah, but when you want to sell, drop or even cannot, no one like to buy.
That is
except HP, except mobile phone, yeah. Mobile phone is still laku.
It is still isti'mali.
Oh,
Isti'mali means after you use, then the property can still be used repeatedly. It can be used repeatedly, right? But after using it, usually it depreciates in value. But some properties of isti'mali, it will appreciate in use, right? The land will appreciate. The electronic items, TV, rice cooker, is still isti'mali, but the value will depreciate after using it. It becomes use value. It becomes used car, used TV, the value will depreciate. But used house or used land, it will appreciate usually, yeah?
Yeah.
But istikhlaqi, for example, like food, after you use it, you can no longer use it. It becomes perishable. Like nasi ayam. Nasi ayam. If I eat it, you cannot eat anymore. So that is istikhlaqi. So there are, yeah, isti'mali means can be used repeatedly. But istikhlaqi are properties that can only use once. After you use it, you cannot use it anymore. So that is called istikhlaqi. Usually foods, yeah? Foods, drinks, vegetables, you use it only one time. Then you cannot use it anymore. Cotton bud, cotton bud, you know? Usually,
cotton.
I take it and then I give to Bu Susi. Please use it. No, you cannot use. It's ikhlaqi. Just example. Okay. Any other example of istikhlaqi. Okay.
What if the specs that we use for our, like the ones Prof you're putting on, you cannot give to me. You can also use this. I think it depends on the measurements and the health of your site. Can that be an example?
Yeah, that could be an example also. Yes. Yes. It can be used only one time and cannot be used by others. Yeah?
Disposable kind like that, ya, Prof.
Yes, yes.
Disposable product, ya.
Yeah. True. It can be used only one time.
Prof.
Yeah,
Prof, like
Mr. Masri, you are here. Alhamdulillah.
I'm with you since in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
But earlier
sorry.
I use my laptop, it doesn't appear my name.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
Okay, product like the newspaper.
Okay.
Okay, of course it be only usable for one day because it was produced for that particular one day. After that one day, it is not perishable, but somehow you don't intend to use it anymore. So how we categorize this kind of product?
Is it istikhlaqi or istimali?
Istimali.
Bututi says it is istimali.
Yeah, because recycling. It can be recycling. Papers.
Yeah, if you look at it this way, then it is istimali. Although it can be read only once, but it can be used as an archive. It can be recycled, so it is istimali. Although for the purpose of reading it, the news is for that particular day, but the paper itself is istimali. You can use it. You can sell it, or you can recycle it.
The product is the physical is not perishable, but the benefit or the intention use of the product is somehow perishable.
Yeah.
Understand? Yeah.
Depends on from which dimensions we look at it. Yeah. From the reading point of view, right? It is istikhlaqi because for one day only, the news is true. But if you look at the paper itself, it is istimali. Depends on how you look at it. Okay, good question. Kind of tricky, yeah?
Yeah, tricky.
Yeah, kind of tricky.
Yeah, it depends on how you look at it. The property itself, the paper itself. Okay, so the paper itself is istimali because you can use it again, but not as a newspaper, but as a wrapper or for some other purposes. So ada surat khabar lama, surat khabar lama used all newspapers. So it is istimali because by definition, istimali means something that can be used repeatedly, and it still has value, although the value may depreciate. Or in some cases, it might appreciate. Okay, so we are done with the theory of al-mulk, theory of ownership, and the theory of al-mal, the theory of wealth. So those are the two main theories in Fiqh Muamalat. The third theory is theory of haq, theory of right. But I'm going to skip that one because of the time constraint. I'm going to the fourth theory in Muamalat, which is the theory of akad, the theory of contract. Okay, in the application of Fiqh Muamalat, this is the most important theory. But according to scholars, you have to understand these four theories, okay? Theory of al-mulk, al-mal, al-haq, al-aqad. So these four theories are very important in Fiqh Muamalat. But because of the time constraint, I'm going to skip the theory of aqad. So theory of al-haq will not be on the exam, yeah? Because of the time constraint. All right, so let's go to the theory of akad. The theory of akad is intended to regulate economic cooperation, define a contract, explain its pillars and conditions, and lay down specific rules for different types of contract. So there are many types of akad or contract in Islamic finance. So we will discuss the general theory of akad. And if we have time, we go to examples of akad. Murabaha, musharaka, ijara, if we have time. But before we talk about the specific akad, we have to know the theory of akad. So what is akad? Arabic terminology for contract is akad. In Arabic is akad. In English, we call contract, right? Literally, akad means to join, to tie, to combine or bind. So that means akad. In Arabic language, the literal translation is to join, or to tie, to combine. Mengikat, menyimpul. Bahasa Melayu mengikat atau menyimpul. What to tie, you know. For example, you have a cow, right? You have a cow. You put the rope around the cow's neck, and you need to tie the rope to a tree. That is the literal meaning of akad. Yeah, to tie. All right. Mengikat, mencantum. Okay. Istilahan. The definition by Islamic scholars. Akad refers to an agreement between two legally binding persons and has consequences upon the contract subject. The contract subject we call mabi' in the case of sales. Okay, so akad refers to an agreement between two legally binding persons and it has consequences upon the contract. Akad has two types, general akad and specific akad. In the general sense, akad is applied to every act undertaken in sincerity. The keyword is in sincerity. And with firm determination. When we are involved in akad, the two parties have sincere and firm determination to follow through the akad and to implement the akad. Regardless of the different nature of the akad. So there are many types of akad. Akad in its specific meaning refers to bilateral contract only as it is defined as a combination of offer and acceptance. So akad involves ijab, offer, and acceptance, qabul. So ijab, offer, and qabul. Giving
kabul.
Qabul.
Yeah, qabul.
Qabul. Okay. Ijab is offer and acceptance is qabul. For example, in sales, the seller is the person who gives offer. Okay. Or ijab. And the buyer is a person who accepts. Right. So the buyer offers qabul. Allah, the legal basis for akad. Allah says in the Quran, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu awfu bil uqudi uhillat lakum bahimatul an'am illa ma yutla alaykum ghayra muhilli sayd wa antum hurumun inna Allaha yahkumu ma yurid. O you who believe, fulfill contracts. Lawful for you are animals of grazing livestock, except for that which is recited to you. Hunting not being permitted while you are in the state of ihram. Indeed, Allah ordains what He intends. So Allah says, wahai orang yang beriman, awfu bil uqud. Fulfill your contracts. Ya? Tunaikan akad kamu. Allah says, Ya bani Israel adhkuru ni'mati allati an'amtu alaykum wa awfu awfi bi'ahdikum wa iyaya farhabun. Sadaqallahu al-azim. O children of Israel, remember my favor for which I have bestowed upon you and fulfill your covenant. Yeah? Wa awfu bi'ahdi Ufi bi ahdikum, and fulfill my covenant that I will fulfill your covenant. Wa iyaya farhabun, and be afraid of me. Okay, so these two ayah says that it is a responsibility of the persons involved in akad to fulfill the akad or contract. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith an Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu anna Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala ayatul munafiq thalath idha hadatha kadhaba wa idha wa'ada akhlafa wa idha u'tumina khana. Messenger of Allah said there are three signs or characteristics of a munafiq, hypocrite. When he speaks, he lies. When he makes a promise, he breaks it. And when he is trusted, he betrays his trust. Rasulullah SAW berkata, ada tiga tanda-tanda munafik. Apabila dia bercakap, dia menipu. Apabila dia berjanji, dia mungkar, ya. Apabila diberi amanah, dia mengkhianati. Jadi di sini, I have to speak English. So this hadith mentions that when we promise, okay. So signs of munafiq is when the person promised, then he breaks the promise. So akad, although it's not the same as promise, right? Akad and promise are not really the same, right? We will study in detail if you take the full Fiqh Muamalat class. However, the point of this hadith is whenever we have a promise, okay, in general promise, and akad is part of the promise, then we have to fulfill the promise. All right. Now, this is important. You'll be on the exam. Okay. Essential elements and conditions of a valid contract. the formation of contract in Islamic law does not require any formality. Sometimes the akad doesn't have to be formal. Okay. For example, you go to vending machine, right? Okay, you go to vending, what do you call it? Vending machine, right? You have to buy a drink.
Oh yeah.
You are the buyer, right? And who is the seller? The vending machine.
The vending machine.
Right? So there is a contract of sales over there. So when you put the money, right, it is your acceptance. It is your acceptance. The vending machine, owned by the owner of the vending machine, he offers the drink. So if you pay, that means you are the willing buyer, right, to enter the contract of sale. So it doesn't require formality. All that is needed is a declaration of consent by each party. Or if you want to talk about it, there are many things we can discuss. Nowadays, you know, with the e-commerce, the buyers and the sellers don't meet each other anymore. In the traditional buying and selling contract, the buyer and the seller meet in the same place. There is an exchange of, there is a sirah, offer and acceptance, ijab and qabul. There are two parties, buyer and seller. There is a mabir', the item of sale. And then, you know, the contract of sales happens in a specific physical place, right? But nowadays with the e-commerce, we don't meet the buyer. The seller doesn't meet the buyer. Okay, so the ijab and qabul is there, the mabir' is there. There is no formality, right? Is it permissible? The majority of Muslim jurists agree that there are three essential elements of a valid contract. So in order for any contract to be valid, there are three essential elements. Okay, this will be on the exam. Number one, ijab and qabul. Ijab and qabul. So in Arabic, they use the word sirah. Sirah. The first element of elements of a valid contract is sirah. Sirah. Sirah contains two things. Well, I wish I had put the Arabic word. Sayyarata. Sayyarata. Sirah. It contains two things, ijab and qabul, offer and acceptance. Okay, the basic idea behind the formation of sirah. Okay, sirah contains ijab and qabul. What's the point of ijab and qabul? To ensure that the contracting parties, for example, the seller and buyer, really understand and conclude the contract. Sirah al-aqdu refers to the manifestation of the contracting parties' will that indicates their intention to contract. So ijab is the offer by seller, okay, the offer, and qabul is the acceptance by the buyer. So offer and acceptance represents the intention of the two parties, the intention of the seller to buy, or seller to sell, and the buyer to buy a certain mabir', certain items of sale. Okay. Siratul Aqd refers to the manifestation of the contracting party's will that indicates their intention to aqad. This will or this intention is manifested through several mediums of expression. So, the sirah or ijab and qabul can be made by utterance, by word. Okay? For example, I sell this pencil, okay, for 1 ringgit. Then the buyer says, okay, I buy the pencil. Okay, so that is by utterance or by conduct. Conduct, the seller and the buyer doesn't say anything. Okay, you go to the supermarket, right? Okay, you buy many things, you just pay, and the seller accept the money. So that is also offer an acceptance. It doesn't have to be spoken in words. The behavior, the willingness to pay, yeah, and the willingness of the seller to accept the payment is also constitutes offer and acceptance, or in writing. Okay, so it can be in words, utterance, in conduct, or in writing. For example, usually you buy expensive things like a house or car or land. You have to put in writing. Okay. My question, is witness the necessary condition in akad?
I think so. Do you think because you know Muslim itu harus ada saksi ya. Everything you cannot, you know, ada 2 orang saja. That's what my understanding.
You got 3 marks out of 10.
Sorry? Oh, 3 only? Oh my goodness, it's so poor.
If you say a witness is an essential element, we all will be in trouble, you know?
Yeah.
Suppose I'm very hungry, you know? I want to buy something from the vending machine. So if you say witness is necessary, I will die. You know, I will have to buy, where is witness? I want to buy. You go to supermarket, you have to bring witness.
Yeah. No, I mean the contract.
So, the witness is not necessary.
Okay.
It's not an essential element. However, there are akad that requires witness. Yeah, true.
10 sekarang.
Sekarang sudah 10.
Sekarang sudah 10.
In general, witness is not a necessary essential elements of a contract. However, there are certain contracts, certain akad that require witness. Give me an example to get 10 marks.
Buy house.
Oh yeah.
Prof.
Yeah,
Yes.
house.
Yes. What else? Akdun nikah. Akad
yeah, nikah.
Nikah
married.
Akad that requires witness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to get married, okay, one of the elements of akad, of nikah, is 2 witnesses, 2 trusted witnesses. And also, when it comes to the contract of values of properties that have higher values, that has high values, land, house, car.
Cars.
So it requires witness. But in general, it doesn't require. You want to buy a drink, you don't require witness.
Yeah.
But only in certain contracts, yeah.
Excuse me, Prof. Including wakaf, I think when someone to do a wakaf, give some land for wakaf, also we need the witnesses.
Yeah, if the value of the wakaf has a high value,
yes,
then it requires witness. But
Yeah.
you want to give 1 ringgit of wakaf to masjid? No, you don't need.
It's depend on the
this is for
depend on
land
the
wakaf.
value.
Yeah, true. If the value of the mawquf,
Yeah.
the value of the object of wakaf is high, or the value of the object of sales is high, then it requires a witness.
So husband and wife itu high ya Prof ya?
Yeah.
Husband and wife itu very expensive ya. So need akad.
Yeah, that's why when you get married, you need a witness. Yeah, because your husband has very high value. All right. Any other question?
Excuse me, Prof. How about rental? So, for example, if I give rental my property, so we also in the contract we need witnesses also, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
True. There are certain contracts that require witness. Yes. True. In general, if the contract has high value, high value. Like renting a house, also it involves the value of the house, right? So it requires witness. All right. That's the opinion of the Jumhur Ulama. Yeah, that's the opinion of the majority of scholars. Yeah, the majority of scholars are in the opinion that if the contract involves, if the akad involves something, or the subject matter is of high value, then what is it? The witness is necessary. And also for akad nikah, akad of nikah, that is the consensus, yeah, consensus. But for akad of in muamalat, it's not consensus. It's just the opinions of the majority of scholars. All right. Okay, let's move on. We are running short of time because I speak very slowly. So I'm always in trouble, short of time. Number 2, so the first element is sirah or ijab and qabul. Sirah contains ijab and qabul, okay? The 2 is contracting parties. A qualified and competent person must conclude the contract to be valid. A qualified and competent person. Who are qualified and competent person? Who are qualified and competent person? Anybody?
Must conclude the contract to be valid. A competent
Okay.
person.
The contracting parties, for example, the buyer and seller, or the lender and borrower,
lawyer, yeah, Prof.
Are required to possess the necessary legal capacity.
Yeah, lawyer.
Yeah, they have to have the necessary legal capacity. What is
Lawyer.
legal capacity? Legal capacity is the ability or witness to acquire rights and exercise them. And accept duties and perform the duties. There are 2 types of legal capacity: capacity for acquiring right and capacity for execution of right. Capacity for acquisition of right. Yeah. Ahliyah al-wujub. Ahliyat al-wujub refers to the ability of a person to receive the right and responsibility due to him. All humans who are alive possess this capacity. Even a fetus in the womb, you know, the baby in the womb of its mother has this capacity, although incomplete. So the other ability is called ahliyatul ada. Ahliyatul ada is the capacity to execute the right. Refers to the eligibility of a person to perform or to discharge his rights and duties in a manner recognized by the law. So we have ahliyatul wujub and ahliyatul ada. Okay. So ahliyatul ada refers to the eligibility of a person to perform and discharge his rights and duties. The principal elements of this type of capacity are that the person has to attain and distinguish between beneficial and harmful. In order to be ahliyatul ada, the person must be mumayyiz, has the ability to differentiate between what is good and what is harmful. Okay, what is profitable, what is not profitable, what can bring benefits, what can bring harms. Okay, so the first criteria is the person must be mumayyiz. Okay, he must possess the capacity of execution, which is divided into two. Number one, ahliyatul ada an naqisah, incomplete capacity. It refers to the eligibility of a person to perform some duties only. Okay. This eligibility begins from the age of 7 to the age of puberty. So the person under the age of puberty, so according to the law of some states, they made a ruling, a standardized ruling, that the person under the age of 18, right? So between the age of 7 and the age of 18. So this person is ahliyatul ada an-naqisah. Yeah, incomplete capacity. However, there are differences, khilaf, among the scholars. There is a difference among jurists in their opinions regarding this issue. According to Hanafis, the followers of Madhab Hanafi, if a person has attained the stage of discernment, mumayyiz, his dispositions are divided into three categories. Number one, transactions that are purely for a benefit, such as acceptance of a gift. These are allowed for a person who can discriminate and has been permitted by this guardian to exercise such acceptance. So for example, the person is under the age of 18, right? Okay, is he allowed to receive a gift? So according to Hanafis, this is allowed, okay? As long as the person is mumayyiz. Okay, and it's allowed by the guardian, okay? Either the father or the mother or the person who is who has a responsibility as a guardian to the child, right? Child means under the age of 18, right? In case harmful for him, his contract is void, even with the permission of his guardian. Okay, so in case of a contract that is harmful, then the contract is batil, the contract is void. It's not valid. Okay. In case of a sale, the contract is valid if a guardian's permission is obtained. He wants to buy something, right? He's still under 18. He's mumayyiz. Can or not? He buys something or he sells something. Can, with the permission of the guardian. Otherwise, we have trouble, eh?
Yeah.
So we give permission to our children to buy something, right?
Yeah.
Although he or she is ahliyatul ada and naqisa.
Excuse me, Prof.
Sure.
You know, there is a sentence versus, you know, sentences about, you know, anak jalanan. While if you see the fact right now, anak jalanan itu banyak, especially in Indonesia, ya. And I mean, under age, they are selling something, baking, you know. So what can we do? Because there is an advice that we better not give anything to them, because this will become misleading, yeah, to them. Because we give something, it means that we support this kind of practices. Yeah, but as a human, sometimes we have, you know, our heart is not what it cannot see, yeah, the fact that a child, you know, to get the food by selling something, begging. So tell me, what is this wrong? Because they are under 18.
Yeah, true. Number one, the government, has a responsibility to take care of the children, anak jalanan,
Yeah.
So, however, in reality, that doesn't happen, Nah, ini anak-anak ini tidak ada guardian, tidak ada bapa, tidak ada penjaga.
Yeah, sometimes haram, Prof.
Dan government juga tidak bertindak sebagai pelindung atau
regulator, ya.
Sepatutnya tanggungjawab pihak kerajaan untuk menyediakan tempat yang sesuai, menyediakan tempat yang sesuai, menyediakan makanan, bertindak sebagai guardian. Ya, tapi itu tidak berlaku. So, in my opinion, untuk tujuan maslahah, kita boleh mengkaji dan kita boleh memberi apabila kita yakin bahawa pemberian kita itu akan digunakan dengan sebaiknya. Because kita bimbang jika kita tidak membantu, apa akan berlaku. Jadi tidak ada masalah untuk kita membantu lah.
At this time, you know, may I continue? At this time, you know, probably last week we are talking about security, about digital security, and now, you know, the fact the digital security, personal digital has already breached, I mean, data pribadi, So our number telephone very often getting a message, you know, try to get helps gitu ya. From panti asuhan, from, you know, yatim piatu, asking for money. You know, this is really, one is very disturbing. And then second, sometimes we have to think, you know, this is true or not. Because if we just give and transfer the money, it can be, you know, a terrorist. You know, the money goes to wrong address. So sometimes this kind of, you know, muamalah, you know, especially we are discussing about the age below 18, is, you know, very confusing.
Yeah, it's true. So sometimes we are in a dilemma whether we want to help or not. Because on one hand, if they are honest and they are really in need of help, right? And we don't help, then we have to question our moral obligation, right? On the other hand, there are some people who misuse, the children, or misuse their institutions. They say we are from the anak yatim institusi anak yatim, rumah anak yatim, for example. They misuse. There are cases of people who misuse this type of institutions to get wealthy. So we are in a dilemma. So it's a different issue. In one of the papers that I wrote, I suggest that these kind of institutions must be regulated. It must be registered to a specific ministry. For example, rumah anak yatim mesti register to the ministry. Kita ada Kementerian Kebajikan, for example,
Minister of Social.
Yeah, something like that. It must be registered. It must be regulated, so that there is no misuse of funds, which is serious. Because in Malaysia also there are some people who takes advantage of our, our murah hati, our generosity, because they get lots of money. So that, to me, that is the solution. All of them must be registered so that the government can regulate.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So on the other hand, the Shafi'is and Hanbalis rule that the transaction by a person under this category is void, is not valid if the person is under 18, because he or she is considered unqualified to become part of the contract. So that is according to Shafi'is and Hanbalis. So, which madhab you want to follow? In Muamalat, in Islamic finance, we follow all madhabs, right? And we take the opinions of the madhab that brings the maximum maslahah. Okay, so we are not restricted to any madhab when it comes to muamalah, when it comes to Islamic finance. Okay, any question? Nanti kata saya Wahabi pula. So the rulings when it comes to the environment of muamalat, sales, and Islamic finance, either by the National Fatwa Council or by the Sharia Advisory Council, are based on all madhab, right? And the rulings are is made by taking into account the opinions of all madhab that is the best, the most practical, and brings the maximum maslahah. All right. Okay. Ahliyatul ada al-kamila. Complete capacity of execution. It refers to the eligibility of a person to exercise his right and undertake obligations in manner recognized by law without being subject to any other person's approval. Okay, so all the persons that are mumayyiz, and baligh, yeah, mumayyiz and baligh falls under this category, ahliyatul ada al-kamila. Okay, hindrance to legal capacity. Certain factors impair the legal capacity of a person and prevent the person from concluding the contract and making dispositions in his property. These legal hindrances can be divided into two. Awarid samawiyah, heavenly defects. Okay, it refers to defects in which no intervention from men but are given by God, such as insanity, idiocy, etc. So there are certain people who doesn't possess legal capacity because awarid samawiyah. He was born insane. He was born as OKU, for example, right? That is called awarid samawiyah. He doesn't possess the legal capacity because of the heavenly defects. He was born like that. Okay, number two, awarid muktasabah, acquired defects. Refers to defects within a person's power and acquired by the act of the man himself, such as intoxication, coma, insolvency, etc. Some people that cannot possess legal capacity because what they do to themselves, you know. For example, they are addicted to drugs and they become, you know, intoxicated. I don't know the word. Drunk, high, cannot think. Mabuk, mabuk, gila, yang caused by themselves. Ya. Kalau makan dadah banyak, boleh intoxicated, ya. So jadi mabuk, jadi tak boleh fikir. Coma, or
that is Professor, that is majnoon.
Suddenly screaming.
Yeah.
Like a word majnoon, or like almost mental disorder.
And they cause themselves, right? For example, at first they are normal. Some of them are normal in the beginning of their lives, but after a while they become majnoon. Then they cannot possess the legal capacity. Or if they are muflis or bankrupt, yeah, insolvent cannot perform certain contracts. Yeah? All right. Now, subject matter of the contract. There are several conditions for the subject matter of a contract. When the two parties want to enter a contract, there must be subject matter. For example, in the sales contract, there is al-mabi'. The subject matter of the contract is the object to be sold, right? So there are several conditions to the subject matter of the contract. Number one, existence of the subject. The subject matter must exist at the time of contract. It's not allowed to sell a subject matter which is yet to be in existence because it involves element of gharar or uncertainty. The jurists differ in their opinion whether this condition applies to every kind of contract or specific contract only and not to others. Okay, there are certain contracts, okay? There are certain contracts that doesn't require the existence of the subject matter at the time of the contract. For example, Ba'ul Salam and Ba'ul Istisna. Okay, Ba'ul Salam and Ba'ul Istisna. Bu Tuti, what is Ba'ul Salam?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look for, you know. In the,
Okay, anybody who have heard of Ba'ul Salam? Mr. Sa'iradat, what is Ba'ul Salam? Ba'ul Istisna.
Bio means life in biology. Salam means peace.
but it's not bio, it's bio. Ba'ul Istisna. Ba'ul Salam.
Yeah, exemption. That is exemption.
Okay, good answer.
Yeah.
But you got very low mark.
Because the first one was wrong.
Then your mark will improve.
This is, you know, okay, excuse me if I'm not wrong. This is should be, you know, booking, yeah. Bai'ul Salam is a muamalah, but you have to buy booking first, like you want to buy a house, then book at the beginning, book in the front. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, good.
100.
110.
You got 7 marks.
Yeah,
7 out of 10.
Yeah, okay, still good, Prof. Rather than 3.
So you pass.
Okay. Not necessary to have exam.
Buy something like Indian like that, Prof.
Again, can you repeat?
Indian, so yeah, something
Ya,
like
booking inden itu bahasa Belanda, Ibu.
Inden, what is inden?
Tuh kan nggak tahu dia.
I don't understand.
Inden mean okay, if we buy something, buy house, then we buy we order first, then the developer will build for us like that.
Yes, you got 10 marks out of 10.
Oh, thank you.
It's the same.
That is because of Inden. Inden itu bahasa Belanda ya.
Yeah, Inden is a Dutch
language.
Yeah, you have to book first, like what I said. You know, you have to book first and then pay. You know, something like advance payment.
That is called Bai'ul Istisna. Bai'ul Istisna is buying of a certain property. Okay. When the property does not yet exist at the time of a contract.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right? And the buyer must pay either by installment or by cash prior to the delivery of the product or the delivery of the subject matter. For example, you buy a house, right? First, you make a payment, and you book, you book, or you prescribe a house with specific prescription. With a specific prescription of a house. For example, it's a bungalow that has certain width, you know, certain prescription of the house. So you can either pay in full or pay in installment. Usually we pay in installment. So it's buying of buying of subject matter which is to be produced. That is called Bai'ul Istisna. Buying of a subject matter yet to be produced. Okay, the house is not yet produced. So that is Bai'ul Istisna. What is Bai'ul Salam? Bai'ul Salam is buying of a subject matter, but the condition is you must pay in full. before the delivery of the subject matter. So there is a difference between ba'u salam
That
and
one is
ba'ul
scrap.
istisna.
Yeah, buying.
Ba'u salam requires that the buyer pays in full before the delivery of the subject matter. However, ba'ul istisna, usually the buyer pay in installment. All right. So in that case, the subject matter does not have to be there. Okay, and it is still permissible. Okay, although the general rule is the subject matter must exist at the time of a contract. However, there are certain contracts that doesn't require the subject matter to exist at the time of the contract. All right. The Hanafi and Shafi'i maintain that this rule should apply to every contract, while the Malikis apply this rule only to the contract of exchange, uqudul mu'awada.
Maliki or Makikis, Prof?
Oh, sorry. Malikis. Oh, thank you. While the Malikis apply this rule only to the contract of exchange, uqud al-mu'awada, where there is a consideration from the other party to the contract. Hence, this rule does not apply to contract of uqud at-tabaru'ah. What is uqud at-tabaru'ah? Uqud at-tabaru'ah is an aqad where the person gives to somebody else as a signs of generosity.
Generosity.
At-tabaru'at means generosity, right? For example, in Islamic insurance, in takaful, right? Every participants give the money, and some of the money is put in the account of tabaru, right? Tabaru. That means whenever somebody is hit with certain calamities, right? Accident or sick or something, then the other participants are willing to give the tabaruk account to the person. So that is uqud at-tabaru'at. So it can be done even though the subject matter is yet to exist, such as the contract of gift, charity, and waqaf. So in the case of charity, right, we can give, although the subject matter is yet to exist, and waqaf. For example, we give, and also like I said, ba'us salam and ba'ul istisna. Remember the word ba'us salam and ba'ul istisna. The subject matter does not have to exist. So although in general the subject must exist, but there are exceptions. Okay, in the case of aqad, uqud at-tabaru'at, in the case of gift, charity, waqaf, ba'ul salam, ba'ul istisna. Can you remember for exam?
Too many, Prof.
This
Too
one
many.
is so heavy, Prof.
Too many, too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, what's that? Istilah banyak, you know, apa kata asing, kata-kata
Yes.
ya.
Arabic
Arab, yeah.
Arabic, yes, Prof.
Arabic.
Suddenly receive hundreds words.
New collab.
Very, very hard.
New vocabulary.
Too many new vocabs.
Okay, maybe later on I will write in Arabic.
We
don't
oh my goodness, Prof. Even crazy, Prof.
Okay.
Excuse me, Prof. Can you give me not 24 hours, but 2
days?
Time 24 hours.
You want more than You want more than 24 hours?
Yes, please, Prof. It is so heavy.
Enggak, Bu.
How many hours? 30
No,
hours?
no. Prof Yusuf only give us one, what's that, question?
Two questions.
Two question
Two questions.
and simple answer.
Simple. If you know the answer, it's simple. If you don't know, it's difficult.
Aduh.
If
Where is
you,
the other? Only two of us wake up.
okay, we try to finish, yeah?
Yeah, Prof already azan.
Yeah. We try to finish.
Yes, Prof.
However, Ibn Qayyim and Ibn Taymiyyah do not consider the existence of the subject matter as a condition of contract. Okay, Ibn Qayyim and Ibn Taymiyyah says the subject matter does not have to exist. Okay, and it's not a condition of a contract. This rule is applicable in the contract of sale as they permit the sale of items that do not exist at the time of contract if their future existence is known according to them. Okay. So that's why in Malaysia, for example, we have a contract of Bai'ul Salam and Bai'ul Istisna, which is allowed, yeah, which is allowed because we take into account all the opinions, including Ibn Qayyim, including Ibn Taymiyyah. All right. However, certain contracts are accepted, although they may not fulfill this condition. Although the reason for allowing them is varied. So, you know, there are certain akad that doesn't require the existence of the object. Okay, like Ba'ul Salam, Ba'ul Istisna. All right. Ba'ul Salam, Ba'ul Istisna, and Ijara, right? So, although the subject matter does not exist at the time of the contract, it is still allowed. And in Malaysia, we are very smart, you know. We have Sharia standards written by Sharia Advisory Council of our Bank Negara Malaysia, which allows all these kind of things.
Yeah. Malaysia is more advanced than Indonesia.
Yeah, we are very smart. You know, for example, short selling, okay? Short selling are not allowed.
Short selling?
Short selling are not allowed in most of the countries in the world. But in Malaysia, it is allowed under certain conditions. So
Excuse me, Prof.
What example?
What is short selling?
Yeah, example.
Oh, you're giving me trouble. I will finish this one first. No, I'm just giving an example of how advanced and how smart Malaysia is.
Oh, yes, I agree, Prof. Actually, there is so many selling system, something like multi-level marketing also come from Malaysia. And so many type of MLM the system. Actually, last week also one of my friend showed me the one that, what is that, metal something in Malaysia. So
be careful also.
Yeah.
Because some of them are not Sharia compliant.
Yeah.
Some of them are not Sharia compliant.
I am the MLM person at the time in 1994.
Some of the MLM system are not Sharia compliant.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying all of the business by Malaysians are Sharia compliant. No. That's not true. But what I'm saying is, in Malaysia, we have rulings that is considered as weird by other countries. You know, short selling is haram in all other countries. But in Malaysia, it is halal under certain conditions.
Oh, okay.
Short selling is a transaksi penjualan saham ya.
It's not on the exam. So I will not explain to you now. We'll have another session on
All right, then.
short selling because it's a very huge topic. Yeah.
Quantum metal. Prof, did you hear about quantum metal?
Yes, I've heard. And if you ask me, is it Sharia compliant or is it not Sharia compliant?
They declare this is Sharia compliant.
They declare Sharia compliant. But my answer is,
no.
I don't know.
We have to invest something like gold, something like that.
But be careful because they claim they are Sharia compliant, and there are the scholars, even in Malaysia, some of them have the opinion that it is not Sharia compliant. So my answer is I don't know yet because I haven't. So, because to me, to make a ruling, you have to really understand. Al-hukmu ala shay' an tasawwurihi. Al-hukmu ala shay' an tasawwurihi. To make a ruling, to make a ruling about something, you have to have a deep knowledge and deep understanding about the operation. So I don't have an understanding about quantum matter yet. But yeah, if you want my answer, I will have to study what they do. The problem is with these companies, sometimes they give us the information which is good only, you know, which looks like they are Sharia compliant. But if we really dig deeper, they might not be Sharia compliant. So I hold my opinion.
Yes, Prof. They use word that's really attractive, especially client or customer in Indonesia. When they say this is Sharia, so everyone like carriers want to see, and then yeah, one just one, because this now hot issue is Indonesia is like Sharia, everything is Sharia. So yeah, this is the one. Actually, this is only few months ago, but I think 2 weeks ago, my friend said to me, yeah, just explain a little bit, say that this is a Sharia. Just want to carry, want to know a little bit more.
So there are still khilaf, you know, differences of opinion among scholars regarding whether it is Sharia compliant or not.
All right. And
so I don't know yet.
Prof.
All right. So let's continue.
Okay.
Number one, the subject matter must exist, right? Except certain cases, there are exceptions. Number two, deliverability of the subject matter. Does the subject matter must be deliverable. Otherwise, the contract is void. Okay. But sometimes we have difficulty. You know, the person says it will deliver, but sometimes it's not deliverable. All right. Therefore, Muslim jurists forbid the sale of stray animals. Whereabouts are unknown, or fish in the sea, or birds in the sky. So because the subject matter must be deliverable. All right. 3, the object must be specific and known to the akad. The object must be specific. What you want to buy, it has to be specific regarding the mabi', regarding the subject matter, and also regarding the saman, price. Okay. Know these words, mabi' and saman. Mabi' means the subject matter of the sale. Saman is the price.
Mana sih? Is this?
So the object must be specific and known to the akad. Mabi' is a subject and saman is a price. Must be known to both. Number 4, legality of the subject matter. Subject matter must be legally permissible, right? You cannot sell something that is not permissible by law. The contract is invalid if the subject matter is acquired unlawfully, like stolen property, or has no commercial value. All right, so the subject matter of a contract, number 1, must be acquired lawfully, You cannot sell something that doesn't belong to you. You cannot sell something you don't own, like fish in the sea.
Yeah.
Okay, or you steal something and you sell it. So the subject matter must be legal, yeah. And number 2, the subject matter must have the value according to Sharia. So that means the subject matter that has no value according to Sharia, which are the haram products that involve riba, products that are haram, wine or pig, or other haram products, cannot be the subject matter. Okay, if the subject matter is stolen, for example, or acquired in illegal way, or the subject matter is haram, then the akad is void. Okay. Termination of a contract. In Islamic law, a contract could be terminated in the following situation: by performance. Once the party's performance takes place, the obligation no longer remains, and therefore the contract is terminated. For example, on the contract of wakalah, the contract is terminated once the agent performs the act he was given completed. Okay. So in the case of sales, the contract ended when the object is delivered and the price is paid. B, by express agreement, the termination of contract by express agreement. Iqala means termination of contract by mutual agreement, since both parties agree to terminate the contract after its conclusion. So for example, you enter into akad of ijar, rent, right? So it can be terminated if both parties agree to terminate. All right. C, by impossibility of performance. Sometimes the contract may be terminated if the implementation of the contract is impossible. Okay, what is an example?
For example, Prof.
Give me an example. You enter into a contract, suddenly you realize, oh, it's impossible to implement the contract.
Oh, okay. For example, there is any flood, Prof? So impossible to deliver in, maybe?
Impossible terminal river performance
So,
to make a contract. No.
For example, you enter into buy on istisna. You want to buy a house, right?
right.
Buy on istisna. And then the house is located in certain area, and suddenly there is earthquake in the area that in that particular area, so it's impossible to build the house. So in that case, the contract is terminated. Okay. Number 4, the contract is terminated by breach of contract. Breach of contract is a failure by one party to a lawful and enforceable contract to implement any of his duties under the contract. So if any of the party breach the contract, then the contract is terminated. Number 5, by the expiration of the contract period. The expiry of the contract period will cause termination. For example, for ijara, right? If the ijara contract is for 1 year, so after 1 year, then the contract is expired. And the death of the contracting parties, the death of one of the parties can be the cause of termination of the contract. For example, in the case of ijara, you rent to one person, right? Then he dies. The person dies, right? Then the contract is terminated. Any question? Now we're finished.
Yeah, it's already number last slide. Yeah, number 41. Alhamdulillah.
So I did my job.
100 score for you.
So you give me 100, Bu Tuti?
Yeah, 100. And see you in Kedah later, yeah.
So you give me 100, so I will give you 100 if you answer everything correctly.
Yeah, I stay writing correctly. Yeah, okay.
But you don't need 100 to pass. You just need 60.
Okay.
So if you get 57, you pass.
Okay.
I give you 3 extra marks for everybody. If you get 57, you pass.
57. Oh, okay. 3 bonus, yeah.
Yeah, 3 bonus. But what if you get 56? You still pass.
56. Okay.
Another one more bonus?
Below 50. Is that correct?
No, if it is not far from 60, for example, 57, 56, 55, you still pass.
You are very generous.
So when you're coming to Malaysia,
Even Prof help us. Up to now we don't have approval yet for our file, for our visa.
We really don't know, Prof.
Yeah, Prof,
Me and Bu Tuti, I think we
no,
are
not only Bu Emi, Haji, Bu Susi, saya, and every our friends from Riau. You know why it's been submitted since July. Is there any anything can do? I mean, I try to contact here the embassy here in Jakarta. They said they will help, but then he reply again that
let me stop recording.
Yeah.
Oh yes, please.
Yeah. Then that's actually
wait. Let me stop recording first. We finish the class, yeah?
Yes, Prof.
How do I stop recording? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.